Good morning, guys. Dakota back with another video, back with another live stream. And if you don't know, every single Monday at 7 a.m. I'll go ahead, hop on YouTube, do a live stream, basically go over the pairs that I'm looking at for the week, and also at the end go ahead and review. At the end, go ahead and go over any pairs that anyone suggests in the live chat. So if you have any charts that you want me to look at this morning, go ahead, put it in the live chat, and I'll be sure to look at them before the call ends. Now I do post every single screenshot in the Discord channel. So if you want to join the Discord channel, go to the description below and you will find the link to that. You can join it. There's a place for everyone to chat. There's a place where I post all the charts, and there's some free education in there as well from resources that I found all along my trading journey. So a little bit about me. I've been trading for about 2 years now. I found out about trading when I was about 19. Yeah, when I was 19, 2018, and I really took it serious at the beginning of 2019, and dropped out of college for it. Got a mentor, basically just went all in, put my full effort into it. So basically there's no excuse for me. Like, at the end of the day, I can't say that I didn't really try. So if I going for what I want, right, within this. So that's a little bit about me. And if you want a deeper understanding of that, I have a video posted on my YouTube channel giving a brief description of how my trading journey has been over the past 2 years. But enough of that. Y'all came here for charts, so let's get into the charts. All right, so quick little review from last week. Last week I've been going over these 4 pairs for pretty much the entire year. The only new one that I've added is dollar Swiss and GN. And I added those at the beginning of this month. So on GU, took this trade last week on Wednesday, looks like, and been holding it. I got a reversal pattern forming. Well, first off, it's in profit, about 175 pips. I got a reversal pattern forming on the 4-hour time frame, and I'll break down exactly what this means, or exactly how I'm seeing this market in a bit. And I noticed, or someone pointed out to me, it would be a whole lot better if I was a little bit more descriptive about what I was actually looking for when I send the screenshots to Discord. So I'll work on doing a better job of that and send it out as I send them out. So yeah, I'm looking for a sell on this today. But let's go ahead and restart and mark everything up. All right. There we go. It's a little better. Okay. So bear with me. My mouse is lagging a little bit, but I will do these full markups. All right, so if you don't know my strategy, if you don't know my strategy, I'm just gonna use my mouse pad. If you don't know my strategy, it's pretty simple. All it is just 3 behaviors of the market. The way that I look at the market, separated by an impulsive move, which an impulsive move is just a very aggressive move. Basically the move everyone really chases throughout the market, pretty much, right? It's a strong push in one direction, okay? So this strong push, what it tells me, or essentially the story that it's telling me, is that the market wants to go in this direction. Okay, the market wants to go in this direction. That's what an impulse basically tells me. It's like you asking somebody for, let's say your birthday's coming up, and you ask your girlfriend or boyfriend, that you want some shoes. So you told them what you want. You told them where you want to go. You told them ultimately what you want. And then after that, after you ask them a question or tell them what you want, you have to wait for confirmation that you're going to get it from them. And what that confirmation is on the chart is basically a correction, right? It's the market pulling back in the opposite direction. And how I explain it, or how I see it, it's small consolidating candles moving back and forth overall in the opposite direction of the impulse, right? So you have to wait for them to say yes. This is essentially the market saying yes. And then after the market says yes, then, or after your girlfriend, boyfriend says yes, you can get the shoes, or they go get the shoes. So that's a continuation, which is just another impulse. So basically, put this in simple terms, impulse tells you the direction the market wants to go. This correction or pattern confirms that the market wants to go in the same direction as the impulse. And then this continuation or this last impulse is just our move playing out. All right, and that's what we're working to capitalize on. All right, so let's go ahead and look at GU and get to work. Let's see if this is working now. Nope. All right. Okay, so just gonna start on the monthly time frame. I'll work my way down. Just simple top-down analysis. Box pricing as I go down each time frame, and essentially I want to box price in as much as possible to the point where it doesn't have many options. All right, there's not a lot of ways it can go at the end of me boxing price in. Is essentially what I want. So it simplifies things for me, and I know, okay, what's the next area that price could possibly target. Yep, so box price in, I see there's a little range here and prices enter that range, and I'm looking for price to actually scale up to this supply zone up here. On these higher time frames, the monthly, weekly, and daily, the support resistance levels, I call them supply zones, and every single line that I draw on my chart, whether it's a trend line, a horizontal line, or any type of line, it's always a zone. It's not just a exact line. It's not an exact price point. I look in that general area, so price doesn't necessarily have to touch it for me to be looking for an entry. So now let's go down to the daily. So now that I know that price is within this range, I know that price is on an uptrend. Since price is on an uptrend and price is in this range, and I'm looking for price to scale up to this supply zone, I'm looking for buys. Okay, I'll say that one more time just in case it didn't make sense. If you rewind and look at the weekly time frame that we just looked at, I said that I'm looking for price to scale up to this supply zone. Okay, so if I'm looking for price to scale to the supply zone, I'm expecting price to go up. Now off the weekly, I saw price enter this range. Okay, so notice price is going to be bouncing back and forth, and if you think of these as support and resistance levels, prices hasn't really tested this level just yet, but overall long-term move, I'm looking for price to possibly test this area. If it does, it doesn't have to, but eventually just reach the supply zone, right? I'm essentially just looking for a test of that supply zone, so I'm looking for price to go up. Now I also have an uptrend here. This uptrend is based off the weekly time frame, adjusted on the daily, so it's a little bit tighter. Now with the uptrend is telling me to look for buys. It's a uptrending market, so I have three things telling me to look for buys. And now if we take a deeper look at things and we remember basically what I just broke down about how I look at the market, you can see we have a strong impulse here, and I'm waiting on a confirmation pattern. I'm waiting on that correction to tell me yes, the market wants to continue up. So, and let me zoom in just in case this is a struggle for everyone to see. I'm waiting for the market to tell me that it wants to go up, so I need a pullback here. Price doesn't just shoot up, right, all the time. It shoots up and then there's a correction. Okay, kind of like what I talked about on Bitcoin. I remember last month, right? It was like one of the first 2 calls that I did. Someone asked me about Bitcoin, whether I think they should buy it, and don't buy. While everyone is buying, while the whole world is watching Bitcoin, don't buy it. Okay. At least that's what I would do. That's what I would tell myself. That's what I am telling myself. But I wouldn't buy it because, like, it's just a strong impulsive move, and after that impulse, there's a correction, right? Because basically, it's just there's a large team of buyers right now. Okay. Now, sellers are gonna come into the market and basically take a lot of those buyers out, especially the very inexperienced buyers, and offer a pullback, right? Price always needs to retrace the moves that it has. So, like, I'm expecting a pullback on Bitcoin, and it did pull back like 3 days after we talked about it on that call. But even now, last time I looked at it was like about a week ago. It impulsed up again, but like if you get the correction, look for an opportunity there on the correction. Up. Wow. Okay, daily impulse, waiting on a correction. There's a trend line here that we can draw for a tighter trend line. Wow, there's a trend line we can draw here, which would allow us to box price in a little bit tighter. Okay, try to say that differently because the first time it sounded redundant. But so I'll go ahead and draw this here, and you can see it's a whole lot clearer as far as where it comes to the impulses and corrections. And if you're not seeing it, let me go ahead and draw out what I'm seeing or what I'm paying attention to. So here, let's just use this whole move here. Here we have an impulse, and after that impulse, we got a correction. Here we have an impulse, and after that impulse, we got a correction. And then after that correction, we got another impulse. Okay, and now that we have this impulse, I'm waiting on another correction. Okay, and we can go back and look at other scenarios where this has happened before, and even to the downside. Man, I haven't used my mouse pad to mark up in a while. No worries, I'll get it. Okay, so starting on the left side, impulse up, small consolidating candles going the opposite direction of the impulse. Impulse up, small consolidating candles going in the opposite direction of the impulse. Impulse up, and then we have small consolidating candles going the same direction as the impulse, which enticed the reversal. And then opposite side. Now, one thing to note. That's why it's very important to pay attention to the higher time frames. Here, yes, there is a impulse. There are impulses and corrections to the downside. Yes, there is a small downtrend here. But on a larger time frame, and if you look at the grand scheme of things, on the daily time frame, this whole thing is an impulse, and this whole thing is a correction, which led to our impulse. Okay, so I'll highlight this area. Go ahead and go to the daily so we can see it on that time frame. Boom. Impulses move up, small consolidating candles go in the opposite direction of the impulse. Alright. So that's enough on the strat. Let's just finish this markup on GU. But wanted to be sure that let's see if you guys can see what I'm looking at on these calls. Just in case you don't see it. Alright, so back down to the 4 hour. On the 4 hour we notice an uptrend here, so we're gonna go ahead and draw that uptrend. Like that. We have this impulse, price is forming a ascending channel there. So let's go ahead and draw that out like that. Now with this ascending channel, it's just a pattern telling me that price has the potential to go down. I'm looking for price to touch it one more time, and then after that third touch, looking for it to sell. And that would hit our take profit from last week. Take profit is like right here, and in this area I have an alert set around. I'll go back to the main one and look for that. I have an alert set around 1.489, about 1.489. I'll double check that on my actual chart. And then after that, I'm looking for price to correct down and test this trend line, possibly. Okay, it could break through depending on how it moves down, but right now we can't even draw Fibonacci's to determine how far we're looking for this to retrace. But my first target would be here, and next target would actually be down here in this area, because price still has not tested this area here. So this could be the start of a pretty decent size sell. I will manage it and figure and adjust depending on how price forms, but ultimately still looking for a larger move to the upside. But today, short-term sell. GBPUSD, let me go ahead and send that screenshot out. And yes, and definitely looking for this sell to break out today. Let's say if not today, tomorrow. All right, but I have really strong confirmations for the sell. Wow, I forgot I was muted. But looking to sell, looking to sell at 1.40919. And like I said, I wanted to give the reasons on these screenshots. Notice I haven't been as detailed as basically what I'm looking for, and just sending out the screenshots, and may be able to help a little bit some people out if I give the reason. So like I talk about on these calls, like I just talked about, basically we have a 4-hour impulse, and well, actually, let me back that up. H4 started forming an ascending channel, and which is a reversal pattern. Okay, and like this number isn't randomly based off the pattern. It's not just a random area I just picked within the pattern or the possible pattern that's forming here. Price could just continue shooting up, right? And that's fine. Happens all the time, especially with ascending channels. Well, ascending, descending channels where it shoots up or shoots down. I'm looking for price to reject a key area, but this is basically an area that I went back and looked at. Before the calls, I usually go through my daily plan and figure out what I'm paying attention to for the week. Let me make sure this makes sense. Daily time frame impulse with no correction. So looking for an opportunity for price to form a daily pattern. H4 started to form an ascending channel reversal pattern, and looking for price to reject a key level. Of the daily corrective pattern. Cool. All right, boom. Let's go to the next one. Okay, dollar Swiss, not too. I don't care. I'm not trading this basically. Okay, so this is the move that I didn't take on Friday. I had a signal telling me not to take it. Not like a, let me rephrase that. I had a confirmation telling me not to take it, so I didn't take it. Stuck to my rules, stuck to my plan on that. But I will be recording this in my journal, and I actually sent this out in the chat so you guys can review it if you want. Here. Let's say it would have. I don't want it to come off like I took it or I caught this. If it's TP for plus, and I will say, if you're like new, like I don't care about these pip numbers. I send them out because like it's easy to read and a lot of people pay attention to it. But I'm definitely way more focused on percentages than pips. Like I do not care too much about pips really at all. Other than risk to reward ratio, that's the only time I really focus on it. And I barely focus on it at that point, because your SL shouldn't be based off pips. It should be based off the market, right? Is the market telling you that, okay, if it comes down to this level, your stop loss should be an area. If it comes down to this level, my move's probably not going to work. Okay, and that can be based off a structure. That can be based off your like winning trades. A really, really good thing to do is to review your winning trades. Like review all your winning trades and figure out how far in the drawdown they go. If you figure out how far your winning trades usually, like how far in the drawdown they usually go, then you can base your SL off of that, because you know, okay, if it's a winning trade, I generally won't have drawdown more than 8 pips or 12 pips or whatever it may be. And you can adjust your stop loss to 15 pips. Because, okay, if it's a win, usually shoots off before it loses 15 pips. Alright, but let's do this full markup. mouse pad. And like I said, not going to be trading dollar Swiss today. Well, let's go ahead and see. But if I do see a setup, I'll go ahead and send it out. But if there is no setup, I'm not going to send out the markup. So going down to the weekly, on the weekly time frame, we have a downtrend. And I like this downtrend here. It's the tightest one that we have, and we can see that we have a break of the trend line. So since we have a break of the trend line, we have an uptrend all over time frame that we can draw. Okay, and this is an impulse, and this is correct movement off the weekly time frame. But I would be more interested in looking for a sell once this trend line is broken. Don't really like this sell opportunity here, and you'll notice why off the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, we have an inverted head and shoulders. We got an impulse. We got a retest of that neckline there, and price hasn't finished this pattern, this possible bullish pattern right here. So I'm looking for price to scale down one more time, and then possibly give a buy opportunity there. Essentially retesting. Do not bring that up. Essentially retesting this zone that our previous. No, that's not our previous. That's not our previous entry. Essentially testing this neckline here, right? And then for a possible buy opportunity, and that would form a nice bullish pattern here, and I'd be really confident in taking that trade. And I would target about this level. Alright, but that's based off the daily, and that is actually a really nice move. So I'm gonna set some alerts on this. I'm gonna go down to the 4-hour time frame, and if you saw earlier, yeah, I'm looking for a price to drop today, but just to get to this level. Let's go back to the daily and mark this out completely. Don't like that too much. It's more of a triangle pattern that could form there, but if it happens, I'll take it. Chat disconnected. Please wait. Try to reconnect. Okay. Can you guys hear me? Okay, it's connected. Alright, so let's go create that alert, and we're gonna stop here off dollar Swiss. I like this setup. Lower time frames, I don't have any interest in that whatsoever, so stopping here and looking for this buy opportunity, possibly. Right, there's still obviously things change. Now, to be more detailed about this, like if price breaks this trend line, I will look for a correction and look to sell that. But right now, I'm looking at the buy side, and if price does give me this buying opportunity, I will look for a price to push up to about 0.9195. Okay, which with this entry should give me a pretty good risk to reward ratio. Yeah, close to a 5-to-1, and actually even better once I refine it, especially if that entry comes. Alright, again, like always, if you guys have any pairs that you want me to go over, go ahead, put it in the live chat, and I'll be sure to go over it before the end of the call. If you have any questions for me whether it's related to like the charts. Yeah, if you have any questions for me, just go ahead and ask them in the live chat. You can also reach out to me on Discord if you have any questions that you don't want to display publicly. What am I doing? I'm going here. Alright, so dollar Swiss. And my fault, I forgot the man, I'm doing all this backwards. It's fine. I'll just take my time. Yeah, so I started doing this, like I said, to be more detailed, and also I went through the rules. I went through the rules that I have on my Discord, and I forgot I had like if you send out an opportunity, like give the reason why and all that stuff. 0.89205, and honestly, I did that because like Discord had this thing that I wanted in my group chat, so I had to come up with some type of rules. A9205. Also today, this morning, I did take an opportunity on EURJPY. When we get to it, I'll be sure to send out that screenshot. Reason. Okay. We have a daily setup. It's forming a possible triangle, but price is retesting the inverted head and shoulders. On the overhead and shoulders. Yeah, this whole setup's on the daily. And daily setups, I love daily setups for my system. This could form a triangle. Okay, my target would be near that supply zone level that I put up here, which was 91991. 0.91991. Boom. And let me make sure I send out the screenshot. Alright, all good. Alright, let's go to the next pair. Get my mouse pad out again. EURJPY. Okay, EURJPY. Currently, I'm in for a sell. And if you watched the last live stream, I'll pretty much break down what I'm looking for here. Looking for a big correctional form here. Off the daily time frame. Let's go back to the daily. If you don't know basically how I look at patterns, I want to see 2 touches on the top of my patterns and 2 touches on the bottom. So looking for price to come back down to this level and give an opportunity for a buy, for a daily buy opportunity. Excuse me. One second, I need some water. Like always, if you have any questions over anything that I'm talking about, go ahead, ask them in the live chat. I'll be sure to answer them to the best of my ability. But EURJPY, right? So I'm looking for two touches at the bottom. So I need price to come back down one more time for a possible buy entry. If it does take off, it takes off, whatever. Just look for a different opportunity. But essentially looking for price to come down like this, then shoot up like that. All right. So knowing that, with that in mind, also know, or based off my back testing, I know within this, the first leg will come down, and if it comes down impulsively, price usually retraces up to about the 78.6, which is lower than the previous high, but it's deep enough to begin to form a decent sized correction. So it's about at that area right now, and it gave me an opportunity there, which is basically just it's a fractal setup. Okay, you guys, I talk about fractals in a lot of different videos that I've been on, and on I guess that are on YouTube, I guess. But yeah, so I entered here off an opportunity on the lower time frame, off the 1 hour time frame. Because of this impulse, this corrective movement, small consolidating candles moving back and forth, price came up here, gave several signals for a sell entry. Then right before this call at around 7, which is right in here, went ahead and entered for that sell, because my entry signals already came, so it was already time for me to enter. And I believe I have my stuff here, so I can send out the screenshot now. So hide this real quick. And it's just about a 2.72. EURJPY. Now the long-term move I'm really interested in, and it's I don't want to say what I was about to say. Entry, sure. Entry area. Entered at about. It's within a daily. Yes, it's within a daily. Within a daily bullish pattern. Looking for price to retest that price level where I have my kills on that. retest. What area is this? About 127.470. 27.470. Okay, and I'll hold all the way down into that point. It's not a lot of room. It's only a 2-to-1, almost 2.72 to 1. So it's not. I'm not gonna be able to move my stop loss in this situation into profit because there's not a lot of room there. So basically, it's gonna hit the point that I was making. It's gonna hit my stop loss or it's gonna hit my take profit at the end of the day. I can't move anything. There you go. All right, let's go to. Let's mark this one up. And now I'll show you basically the larger time frame move that I'm looking for. Let me make sure this is the right broker. Okay, cool. And I'm in this for a short. Start on the monthly. Okay, my mouse is doing a little better. I'm gonna try it for a little bit. All right, so starting off box price in as usual. All right, lower time frame, we have that uptrend there. We're gonna go down to the weekly time frame, and let me throw my phone across the room real quick. And we have a zone up here that I want to draw because there's a lot of space between these two areas. Price actually broke through this zone recently, so right now looking for strong, like just bullish moves right now. Off the daily time frame, we can draw that uptrend a little bit better or a little bit tighter, and I'm gonna extend it all the way up to here. Now on the lower time frame, or if we zoom in, about that, see we have the strong impulse to move, but we don't have a correction. I'm waiting for that correction. And if you remember from what I talked about, 2 legs, we have 2 legs at the top right now. It actually hasn't made a real rejection at the top just yet, but assuming that it rejects to 78.6, nice little rejection possible here. But we only have 1 touch at the bottom, and it'll be very, very interesting to see it test this area. Okay, now price could test this area or I could test this low here. I'm gonna go with this first area here and just say it tests this equal low that I previously made. And if we go ahead and draw Fibonacci's off of this, we can see it's a little bit above the 50. The 50 would say it's testing this area here, but I will keep this zone here for now. And if things change, if it retraces deeper, then we make the adjustment and we do what we got to do. Okay, but basically what I want to see here, so I'll draw this out and I'll send this out. I'll just send this screenshot out. I won't be as detailed with the analysis since it's the same one. I'll just reply to the previous message. That's what I want to see. Should be a whole lot clearer on the 4-hour. Okay, as far as targets go with this, let's go ahead and find a target real quick. That would be a good target. We have like multiple rejections there, so that would be a good area that I would look to stop looking for this buy. Jeez. Oh, I'm on the daily. I was wondering like why is it why is it so big? Alright, there we go. Obviously, like always, nothing has to unfold this way. Everything can change. Price could break the trend line. There could be price could break the trend line, give us a setup to the downside, retest some areas down below there. So I mean, like, just be adaptable to whatever situation. But this is what I'm looking for the moment. It's pretty simple markup. Let's go down to the 1 hour so you guys can see the setup that I'm looking at right now. Impulse down, correction there. Go ahead, draw the Fibonacci's, and you can see it's off the 78.6. Now, last week buy opportunity, I did close off of this, off the break of this trend line here, and that was around 2 o'clock that I closed. And we bought, or at least I bought here or here in this area, and looking for price to shoot up to 78.6. Price came back above that trend line and eventually had to take profit, but not complaining. I followed my rules and got some profit out of the trade. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead exit out of that, and you can go scroll back up through the chat to see if you want to actually see that trade, how it went all the way through. All right, so pound Kiwi, just looking for a corrective pattern here. Have the 38.2 and the 61.8 zones highlighted, and looking for one of those areas to be tested, and looking for sell entries in those areas. Now, on sales, I usually do not like going for the 38.2 because it's a low probability setup, especially for sales. It's a very high probability setup for buys though, and but this area, there's a lot of resistance basically in the area, so it's an area that I at least have to pay attention to. I can't just simply ignore it in this situation. And if we zoom out a bit, I will go ahead and give full markup, and this will be the last markup since there's no like request in the charts in the chat. Matter of fact, we still have that gold set up that we're waiting on that we talked about last month, so I'll glance at it. I won't do a full markup on gold. I only do full markup on gold if someone requests it. And we're still watching UJ, so we'll also take a peek at that too. But basically here, 4 hour, we got this ascending channel. We got an impulse breaking that ascending channel, waiting for that corrected pattern and looking for the sell. Pretty simple. Last week, price broke through my zone, and if price breaks through my zones, I immediately switch my buy, start looking for a buy opportunity. And like I said, no, that was on a different call. But basically what I noticed at the end of the week, was that I didn't notice this ascending channel was forming here. Okay, so I was kind of blind. I was blind to the ascending channel, but as soon as it broke out, came back down underneath my supply zone, noticed it, and there's an opportunity there. So let's go ahead and mark this up. We can just mark it up on this one. I don't have any positions on this. Let's go ahead and put, I don't like that too much. I like this area a lot more. We'll put it here for now. Okay, there's our demand and our supply zone. Just areas that price has tested and made major rejections recently. So it's areas of interest for us because price could possibly sell from those areas again. Now here on the lower time frame, what we've been looking at is this downtrend here and looking for price to sell off. See price wicked out here, rigged out of the trend line here, but it hasn't closed above it, at least on the weekly time frame. So we're still looking for sales at the moment, and we have this developing weekly candle. So let's see how it closes. Think here, if you study candlesticks, we have a shooting star here, and like after this is a pretty strong signal that this next candle could possibly be a strong bearish candle that comes down about to this level. But knowing how GU moves, I'm looking for it to actually come down below here. So it could be possibly, right? I don't know, but maybe, right? Could come down here and break this low here. That'll be something I'll be paying attention to for the week. Let's go down to daily. So we're gonna throw away this trend line. It's not that important. We know what we're looking for, and if something happens, we'll go ahead and adjust. That's not where I really want it. There we go. Okay, perfect. Now we can go ahead and draw this uptrend here, or if you can see, we have this uptrend here. And a safety trade would be to wait for this break of the trend line, look for a correction, look to sell down to this level. Once we go to a lower time frame, there's another opportunity. But right now, looking for buys. Possible scenario that could happen, we have this impulsive move here, but on lower time frame is corrective. On the daily time frame is impulsive. You have a possible correction that could form here and break through that level. Since price is below the supply zone, and on lower, well, let's just go based off the daily. Let's not talk about lower time frames. Since price is below the supply zone, we have strong signals to sell, so should be looking for sell opportunities. Let's go down to the 4 hour. On the 4 hour time frame, you can say we have an uptrend here or slash ascending channel. Okay, and price is broken out of that impulsively. After every impulse, we need a correction. The bigger the impulse, the bigger the correction. So we're looking for a pretty decent size pullback here, and then after that pullback, looking for a sell at least to this trend line, which would be at least to this low about. And if we talk about pips a little bit, it's about 230 pips, which is a pretty good move, and price could always, like, what I'm actually looking for is price to break out of that trend line and at least come to this low, which is about 600. Let's go down to a lower time frame, see what's happening there. Not much, not much. So prices started to form scale down correctively, so could see a descending channel form here, but nothing solid yet. Need price to come down one more time and then reject this area, and that would be pretty decent confirmation for this possible push up. But yeah, need to see price come a little bit lower. But that is GN. And let me undo. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and take a quick peek at UJ and gold. Or let's go ahead and get gold out of the way first, and then UJ. And let me not be lazy. Let's get this all the way out. Yeah. Okay, entry area would be first entry area that I'm paying attention to 1.92503, 1.92503, 1.92503. Reason okay, cool. Let's go back to here and then gold. Alright, gold is doing what we like it to do. Came back down to this area, looking for price to buy off of this area zone. If I know I did not label it. I know I didn't label it because I don't trade gold, right? I know gold is very popular. I know a lot of people trade gold and all that stuff, but I don't, right? And I don't do it because basically, if I were to put it bluntly, I suck at trading gold. But really, like backtesting didn't prove to be possible with it, like profitable, not possible. My backtesting with gold wasn't profitable, so I don't trade anything that backtesting isn't profitable on. Definitely need a different approach, and definitely like day trading, and I don't really like day trading too much. I know I sent out like the full analysis on it. If I didn't, at least I know I definitely talked about it on the call. But basically, I'll find it. I'll reply to it once we get out the call. I don't want to waste too much time on here. But basically, off of the daily, let's go to the weekly. Weekly should be clear. I'm looking for a buy. Okay, had this huge impulsive move here. We got this nice correction here. Price has tested this for a second time and looking for rejections off this level. Let's go ahead and make it darker so it's easier to see. That is not darker. Okay, go back to the daily. Okay, we were watching price in that area on the 4-hour time frame for a possible sell. The sell was the primary move, but price didn't test it and just ended up giving a sell anyway. It did come back up to this area, which could give you another opportunity, but of course I was not watching it during that time. Price, and we were watching if price broke that trend line, we would look for a correction and look for price to push up. We got our sell opportunities here. I may have sent a short. Nope, I was breaking something down to someone there. But haven't looked at gold really since, other than this buy opportunity here. Not the one that I have labeled with the PL, but just the one that's drawn out there. But here, essentially, just we have this impulse, looking for a correction, looking for price to push up, watching price at that trend line, and like to put it simply, like to summarize everything I just said, just looking for a buy opportunity on gold. Man. And we'll extend all the way. Of course, it's not going to be so aggressive. Could be a little bit corrective. Like several opportunities could potentially come within that time frame. Okay, USDJPY. I think I have it marked up on here. Or actually, I have it in my practice section. Okay, last time we talked about UJ. Price broke out of this trend line. We got our buy opportunity from that point. Looking for a correction here. I would have liked a way more corrective movement here, but just didn't work out for us. Price came down here, formed a descending channel on a lower time frame. So I go here, and then broke out, gave us a correction, and gave us this buy opportunity here. Right now, off the 4-hour time frame, we have another strong impulsive move here. We have this nice corrective pattern here, and yeah, price has broken out of the pattern right now. Could come back in, but for now it's broken out. It's retesting currently, and price could potentially push up. So something to watch for. Again, like, I'm not deliberately or not tracking it as closely as the other pairs that I sent out. But UJ, like I said, UJ is a great opportunity to start looking long for. Now another possibility within this, price could continue to scale down, and if it scales down to this zone again, form an expanding triangle, giving us the opportunity to buy, and that would give me the corrective movement that I was pretty much looking for once price came down here, because this is very aggressive. This isn't a typical bounce that I would enter off of. I believe that's everything. Yeah, I cleared everything here. Alright, so oops. Stop. So that is everything, guys, as far as the pairs go, the markups go. I'll go ahead and grab this book one more time. This is the last time I'll close out the call with a reading. Well, no, let me not lie to you guys. I plan not to do the next call. I plan not to end the next call with a reading. But today I missed my reading for the morning, so I'll go ahead and read this Mark Douglas book real quick to you guys. Man, that was a long yawn. Okay, so I'll just read one section today, and after that we'll go ahead and end it. Now the book that I'm reading is The Disciplined Trader, and I'm gonna go over the same chapter, Steps to Success. We're gonna go over step 1, page 204. Again, The Disciplined Trader by Mark Douglas. If you don't know who Mark Douglas is, go ahead and search him on YouTube. He has a ton. There are a ton of his seminars on YouTube, and if you think you're stuck due to trading psychology or things like that, trading psychology, you don't have the right mindset, or not really implementing risk management, he's a really good person to listen to. Alright, let's do it. Step 1, staying focused on what you need to learn. First and foremost, you may need to change your perspective or the focus of your trading. Until now, your focus have been to make money. If this is so, you will need to change your perspective to what do I need to learn, or how will I have to adapt myself to interact more successfully. You need to stay focused on mastering the steps to achieving your goal and not the end result. Knowing that the end result, money, will be a byproduct of what you know and how well you can act on what you know. I need to turn this light on. There's a tremendous difference between focusing on money and focusing on using your trading as an exercise to identify what you need to learn. The first will cause you to focus on what the markets are giving you or are taking away from you. The second perspective causes you to focus on your attention on your ability to give yourself money. With the first perspective on your ability to give yourself money, with the first perspective, you are placing some of the responsibility onto the markets to do something for you. With the second perspective, you assume all the responsibility. Always keep in mind that each moment is a perfect reflection of your level of development. If you look at each moment that things don't turn out as you want or expect as a mistake, then you will usually cut yourself off from the insight about yourself contained within each moment. The reason why we will cut ourselves off from this information is because we typically associate mistakes with pain. We will instinctively avoid pain, and in doing so also avoid what we need to know about ourselves to interact more effectively in similar circumstances in the future. To evolve beyond pain and our fear of mistakes, our mistakes have to be resolved. This could be a big task, and you may not want to tackle it at this time. So what you will need to do is build a culinary framework to place all of your trading experiences. This framework needs to be defined in such a way that all experiences are valid and have meaning, and as such, mistakes don't exist. They just point the way. As part of this framework, you may also need to change your definition of a missed opportunity. Except for the inability to accept a loss, there isn't anything that has the potential to cause more psychological damage than a belief in missed opportunities. Missed opportunities are trades that would have always turned out perfectly because they only occurred in our minds, where we can make anything be as we want it to be. Of course, we would have responded exactly as the conditions warranted without flaw. The problem is we didn't do it, and the resulting sense of loss we feel is difficult to reconcile. Therefore, these missed opportunity trades have the potential to cause more anxiety and stress than the trades we actually do take that turn out to be losers. Nothing's worse than missing a perfect opportunity. However, if you could have, you would have. It's that simple. The sooner you accept this, the sooner you'll be able to take advantage of these missed opportunities instead of beating yourself up over them. Besides, there really isn't anything to miss because the markets are in perpetual motion and will continue to be until everyone agrees on value. As long as the price keeps changing, there will always be another opportunity. When you start trading from the perspective that mistakes don't exist, you'll be amazed at the sense of freedom you will feel to grow by accepting your results as a reflection of who you are in that moment, which then allows you to determine what you need to learn to do better. When you release the energy out of the belief that it is possible to miss anything, you will no longer feel compelled to do something, like getting into trades too early or too late. In other words, you will be giving yourself additional choices. Not doing something is often the most appropriate choice, where only one choice existed. You need to constantly keep in mind that the professional traders from whom you are trying to extract money already know and are using many of the principles put forth in this book. They understand the concept of objectivity, have learned how to trade without fear, and know how to execute their trades properly. Before you can begin to take this money out of the markets consistently instead of markets taking yours, you will also have to learn these skills. So I would suggest that you set aside a certain amount of trading capital as tuition for your education. How much you set aside will be a function of how many skills you need to learn. What is most important is that you make a firm commitment to your education as a trader. Even if you have been trading for years and you are successful, but not as successful as you would like to be, setting aside money that you will trade with as an exercise to learn some needed skill is a very powerful symbol of your commitment to learning that skill. The stronger your commitment, the faster you will learn. with that, I really appreciate everyone that hopped on this call. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys do have any suggestions to make these calls better, more entertaining, or provide more value for you guys, go ahead and let me know. You can let me know in the comment section. You can let me know in my Discord channel. The link to my Discord channel is in the description, and you can go ahead and comment in the chat section there. Also, link to my Instagram is in the description as well. I am looking at my Instagram, I'll say multiple times a week now, so you should get a relatively quick response from me if you DM me. But thank you guys.